All right, so first thing I want you guys to do, if you don't have already, get out a pen and notepad and get prepared to take notes, okay? So I'm gonna go through, so just be sure that you guys take notes, all right? So welcome to Forex Basics, all right? Number one, what is Forex? Okay, what is Forex? What is this thing that we've been seeing pop up all over social media, right? What is all this fuss about, right? So Forex is the act of trading one currency for another, okay? It's the act of trading one currency another, and I'll go more into detail about what that is exactly, okay? This is the largest financial market and the most liquid market in the world. And what liquid means is its ability for something to get turned into cash, right? This is a $5.3 trillion a day market. That's massive, right? And it can be, and you can trade, anybody can trade with any smartphone device. All you need is Wi-Fi, right? You can trade 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, okay? There's flexible trade sizes, which means every single trade that you take in foreign exchange, you can choose exactly how much you want to risk, okay? So you have complete control over your risk when trading currencies, okay? Now, a big thing that a lot of people, worry about when they get into Forex for the first time is, I don't want to spend real money before I know what I'm doing. One of the great things about being able to trade today is you can actually trade with fake money before you decide to use any of your real money to invest, okay? There's these brokers that will let you trade with fake money before you put any real money into it. And now we have the opportunity, trading currencies, we now have the opportunity to play in the same playing field as banks and hedge funds and governments, okay? And so what we're called retail traders, right? So, right, that is foreign exchange in a nutshell. We're trading one currency for another, okay? Now, why should you trade? Okay, why should you trade? That's a very quick question that most people ask. Okay, trading, first of all, I break down trading. The number one benefit to trading currencies, trading Forex, is that it saves you time by letting you make money anywhere. Literally, you can be in bed, you can be at the grocery store, you can be driving, which I don't recommend while you're driving, but you can be anywhere in the world with your smartphone and Wi-Fi, and you can trade Forex. And so just think about the time convenience. Just think about the time and energy that you save from having to go out and working more hours and working a second job, whatever it is, because you're able to make money from the comforts of your home, from your phone, right? Think about that for a second, right? Most people that we know in our life right now who don't know trading, how do they go out and make extra money? They have to go out and find extra jobs. They have to go out and and request more overtime. And let's be honest. That takes up a lot of energy. That takes up a lot of our time, and let alone having to go through that grind. It just adds a lot more stress to our lives, right? So when you trade currencies, when you trade Forex, the one thing that it does for you now, it lets your money work for you. Okay, it lets your money work for you. Who wouldn't want to be able to take $100 and turn it into $1,000, right? What average person, if you give them $100, can come back to you in a couple of weeks with $1,000? Not much, right? Unless they're doing something illegal, and that's something that I do not recommend, right? But Forex, right, you can now let your money work for you. We're also used to having our money work for us. No, we're also used to having to work for our money. But when was the last time did you have a chance to let your money work for you? Okay, that's another key benefit as well too. All right, Forex. Okay, just kind of give you guys a quick comparison. Forex does $5.3 trillion a day, right? Which we just went over. The stock market, right? Everyone knows the stock market. The stock market does $22 billion a day. Okay, and if you compare the Forex market to the stock market, this is what it will look like. You have this huge giant monster here, which is the Forex market, and then you have this itty bitty tiny little creature here, which is the stock market. Okay, so Forex, $5.3 trillion a day. Stock market, this little guy here, only $22 billion a day. Now, where would you want to be? You want to be where all the money is at, right? You want to be with this blob right here, this guy right here. So what is one thing, right? Seeing this, you see that Forex does $5.3 trillion a day. What are we going to tell the stock market? We're going to tell them, man, you get out of here. I'm going where the real money's at, right? All right. We're going to go where the money's at. So how does Forex work physically, okay? I'm going to go over with you guys how Forex works over the phone, but how does Forex work in real life, okay? So imagine this. Imagine you were flying from the United States to another country. Let's take like Russia, for example, okay? If you were flying from the US to Russia, you would have to exchange the US dollar for Russia's currency, okay? You would physically have to take US dollar bills, okay? You would have to physically take US dollar bills and then exchange it for Russian currencies. That is foreign exchange. When you exchange money, you've just participated in foreign exchange. Now, many of you guys may have been, or ladies, maybe you've been to an airport, right? What do you see at airports? You see foreign exchange booths. Because why? They know that if you're traveling out of the country, something that you may want to be able to do before that is exchange your money for whatever country you're going to and getting that country's currency ahead of time. That is foreign exchange, guys. We are trading one currency for another, okay? We're trading one currency for another. But who has time to actually fly to another country to engage in foreign exchange, right? Who actually has the time to fly to another country to engage in foreign exchange? You know, ain't nobody got time for that. No, nobody have time for that. So what I'm going to share with you guys today is how to engage in Forex without having to physically travel to another country, okay? You don't have to do that, thankfully, okay? What is the exchange rate? I'm going to cover the exchange rate with you guys. Whenever you are trading one currency for another, there's an exchange rate, okay? The exchange rate pretty much tells you, using the example previously, that the exchange rate will tell me if I'm traveling to Russia, how much one US dollar can get me in Russian dollars, okay? That is the exchange rate. This exchange rate will tell me, Hua, for one US dollar, this is how much you're gonna get of this country's currency. Right? That is the exchange rate. And the exchange rate can either go up or down regularly, and it depends on different factors, right? So you can think of any country right now. If you travel from the US to Mexico, okay, you got to exchange the US dollars for the peso, right? There's an exchange rate there. If I travel from the US to Canada, okay, and I had to change the US dollar for Canadian dollars, there's an exchange rate there, okay? You guys get the idea. If I travel to any countries right now, there's going to be an exchange rate between the US dollar and that country's currency. Okay? So give you a second, write that down. The exchange rate, it can go up or down, and the exchange rate pretty much just tells you how much of one currency you can get for the other. Right on? Right on. Okay, so how we make money? How do we make money in Forex? Okay, so between any two currencies, for example, the US dollar and Canadian dollar, okay, between any two currencies, one will always have to either rise or fall in value against the other, okay? One currency will always either have to rise or fall in value against the other. Okay, and so in Forex, we make money when the exchange rate changes, assuming that we get in on the right side of the trade. Okay, we make money in Forex when the exchange rate between two currencies changes, if we get in on the right side of the trade. Okay, and we'll cover this in more detail. All right. Let's take the US dollar. Let's take the US dollar against the Japanese yen. Okay, if let's say, for example, the US dollar rises in value against the Japanese yen. Okay, If the US dollar rises in value, that means the Japanese yen will drop in value against the dollar. Okay, pretty straightforward. US dollar against the Japanese yen. US dollar rises in value, Japanese yen drops in value. Okay, what does this mean? What does it mean when the US dollar rises in value against the Japanese yen? This means that the dollar got stronger against the yen, which means one US dollar now can exchange for a lot more Japanese yen. Okay? If the dollar gets stronger against the yen, it means one US dollar now buys you more Japanese yen, which means you have more buying power if you're in Japan. Okay? And more buying power means that $1 can now take you a lot further. Okay, that's the power of the exchange rate. The exchange rate tells you the strength and the value of your currency against another currency. Right on? Okay. Now, since the US dollar has more value than the yen, using the previous example, okay, going back, right, US dollar rises in value against the yen, which means you have more buying power. Okay, since the US dollar has more buying power, more value than the yen, you have more buying power if you're in Japan. So imagine this for a second. Imagine you went to another country where your money is more valuable than that country's currency. Right? That's how like if you go to another country and all of a sudden your money is worth a lot more than they have, right? You just became richer. You just became richer by being in that country. How good of a feeling is that, right? That's the power of currencies, and that's how the exchange rate works, right? If you go to another country right now at this very moment, and your currency is valued more than that country's currency, you just became richer. All right, so that's how the currency, that's how the exchange rate works, guys. Okay. So how do we make money? Let's go back to the example. Okay, let's go back to the example of the US dollar against the Japanese yen. Okay, oops. Okay, in Forex, everyone, in Forex, you're always going to see a pair. You're always going to see two currencies like this. Okay, you're never going to see just one currency by itself. Like you will never see USD by itself. When you trade currencies, you'll always be trading two currencies. Give me 1 second here. Okay. You're always going to be trading two currencies. So you'll see a pair like this, USD, you'll see a slash, and then you'll see a second currency. In this example, it's the Japanese yen. The US dollar, since it is the first currency in this pair, is called the base currency. Okay, the US dollar, whatever currency is in front is called the base currency. Whatever currency is second, in this case, the Japanese yen, this one is called the quote currency. Okay, so again, you're always going to have, in Forex, you're always going to have two pairs at any given time. You're always going to be trading one pair against one currency against the other. Right? You're always going to see it like this. You'll never see just one currency by itself, right? Just to recap again, the first currency that you're always going to see is the base currency. And the second one that you're going to see is called the quote currency. Boom, USD, base. JPY, quote. Okay. Now, how do you read currency symbols, right? I'm going to walk you guys through, okay, what exactly does it mean? All right. So when you think about the value of the dollar, okay, back to the example, right? I use an example of the US dollar rising against the Japanese yen, okay? Whenever I think the value of the dollar is going to rise against the Japanese yen, I would get into what's called a buy, okay? I would buy this pair. And when you buy this pair, you basically are saying that you want the value of the US dollar to go up and you want the value of the Japanese yen to go down. All right. So when this happens, when the US dollar goes up and the Japanese yen goes down, this pretty much just means that one US dollar now buys you more Japanese yen. That's all that it says. Okay? This is all that it means. So if I buy this trade, I pretty much just want the US dollar to get stronger against the Japanese yen. And the vice versa is also the same as well too, right? So when I think of the value of the dollar, if I think the value of the dollar is going to go down against the Japanese yen, I would sell this pair. All right, I would sell this pair. Now, what does it mean when I sell USD JPY? Okay, I went over with you guys what buying means, right? Buying means I want the US dollar to get stronger against it. Excuse me, to get stronger against the Japanese yen. But if I sell this pair, I want the opposite to happen, right? If I sell USD JPY, I want the US dollar to get weaker against the Japanese yen, which means now 1 US dollar buys you less Japanese yen, which means your buying power, the US dollars, you have less buying power if you were in Japan. Does it make sense? Okay. When you want the first currency to strengthen, you buy. When you want the first currency to weaken, you sell. Okay? Make sure you write this down. This is very important. Okay? When you buy, you want the first currency to get stronger against the second. And when I sell, I want the first currency to get weaker against the second one. Okay? Get this down, guys. This is very important. Now, how do we measure profits in foreign exchange? Okay. How do we measure profits in foreign exchange? We measure profits by what's called pips. Okay, PIPS. We measure profits by pips. And what is a pip? A pip is essentially a movement in the fourth decimal of the exchange rate. Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, between any two currencies, there is an exchange rate. Okay, the exchange rate, like I said, the exchange rate tells you how much value one currency is against another. Okay, now a pip, right, is a movement in the fourth decimal of the exchange rate. Let's look at an example. Okay, let's assume that the exchange rate for US dollar against the Japanese yen is 1.12345. Okay, 1.12345. And before I move forward, this is pretty much what it means if I was to buy this. Okay, it means 1 US dollar would buy me 1.12345 Japanese yen. Okay, which means I have more buying, which means a US dollar has more value, more buying power over the yen. Okay, because 1 US dollar gets me 1.12345 Japanese yen. This is just an example, guys. This is not the actual exchange rate. But let's assume that that was the exchange rate, and then it moved up to 1.12346. Okay, it moved. Oh, okay. Well, okay. I actually made a little slip up here. It actually should have moved up to 1.1355. Okay. Oops. So pardon me on that. 1.12345 moves up to 1.12355. Okay. So it moved up one digit. The 4 became a 5. Okay. That's 1 pip, guys. That is 1 pip. If it moved down to 1.2335, again, excuse my typo, okay, that's also 1 pip. So up or down on the fourth decimal is 1 pip, okay? That's 1 pip. So if the exchange rate is 1.12345 and it moved up to 1.12346, again, excuse my typo, okay, I would have made 1 pip, okay, if I was in for a buy. Now, how much does 1 pip translate into? Okay, now we're going to cover what's called lot sizes, also known as risk. And actually, let me just, since I have you on here, let me just go ahead and rewrite that so some of you just don't get confused, okay? Let me just do that real quick. So let's assume USD JPY, okay, exchange rate is 1.1234, okay? Now, the 4 here is the fourth decimal, okay? That's the fourth decimal. Now, let's say it 1.1, let's say 1 point, and let's say it changed, it went up to 1.1235, okay? If this, let's say this exchange rate went up to 1.1235, this, guys, is 1 pip because it moved up, okay? If it went down, if this went down to 1.12, let me see, what is this, 24? Yeah, 1.124, okay? Wait a minute. No, 1.133. Okay, there you go. So if this 4 became a 5 or this 4 became a 3, that is 1 pip both ways, okay? It's still a pip. If it went up to 1.1235, 1 pip. If this went down to 1.1233, that's 1 pip, all right? So there's 3 types of lot sizes, also known as risks. I want you guys to write this down, okay? There's 3 general types of lot sizes. The first one is called a micro lot. This is anywhere between 0.01 to 0.09, and that's 10 cents to 90 cents a pip. 0.01 being 10 cents, 0.09 being 90 cents, okay? A mini lot is 0.1 to 0.9, which is $1 to $9 a pip. And then you have what's called a standard lot, which is 1.00, which equals $10 a pip. Now let's go back to that example. Okay, so what? Okay, so you're probably sitting there like, wow, okay, cool. Like I understand pips, but how exactly does that make in terms of money? Okay, so by catching that 1 pip, right? Back to this example. Okay, 1 pip movement, and also what you risk per pip is what you make. All right. So by catching that 1 pip, whether it is for a buy or a sell, guys, here's how much you could have made. Okay. If you risked a 0.01 on that trade and you caught 1 pip, you would have made 10 cents. If you risked a mini lot, which is a 0.1, 0.1 times 1 pip, okay, that's $1. That's $1 because what was a mini lot? A mini lot was $1, right? So you catch 1 pip. 1 pip times $1, that's $1. Then if you risked a standard lot, which is $10 a pip, right? $10 a pip, and you caught 1 pip, that's $10. That's $10, okay? And this right here, this is an example of a trading app called MetaTrader 4, which is what we use to actually trade Forex. I'll actually cover this app with you guys in the next training. But for now, I wanted to give you guys a visual of how you actually set your risk when you trade. And this number right here that I highlighted, right, this is where you actually put in what you want to risk. See, and right here, currently it has a 0.02. A 0.02 would fall into a micro lot, which is 12 cents, 20 cents a pip. You see that here? Here's where you set your risk for a trade, okay? And you're gonna set this for every single trade that you take. So those are 3, so that's lot sizes, okay? Every trade that you do in Forex, you're gonna set your risk, how much you wanna risk on that trade. Now here's the power of Forex, guys, that I just exposed to you guys. Here's the power of it. The same movement that makes someone $1 can also make you $10. Do you guys see that? The same movement that makes $1 can make another person $10. Okay, you up that risk. Let's say let's take it up a notch. Let's say 50 pips. Okay, let's say you caught 50 pips on a trade. Okay, 50 pips on a micro lot is $5. Right? 50 pips on a micro lot is $5. But let's say you bet $10 on 50 pips. Okay, if you caught 50 pips and you bet $10 a pip, $10 a pip, how much is that? That's That's $500. Do you guys see that? The same movement, that made someone $5 can make you $500 depending on what your risk is. That's the power of Forex. This is why this is blowing up so much. This is why people are able to leverage and create cash flow without having to work second jobs and without having to go out and work more hours. It's because of the leverage and the power of Forex. That's powerful. And when I realized this, my whole life changed. My whole life changed because never in my life did I was ever exposed to something like this where I could make this kind of money. And so now you guys see the power of Forex, right? The same amount that makes someone $5 can make another person $500, $5,000. Okay. What are the major currencies? I'm gonna cover you guys what are the major currencies. Now, these aren't the only currencies that are traded. These are just the main ones that represent, large economies. Okay, obviously you have the U.S. dollar, okay, which is represented by USD. Okay, then you have what's called GBP, which is the British pound. Okay, Great Britain, and then you have the euro, right? Euro, self-explanatory. The currency that's in Europe. Okay. Then you have CHF. CHF is the Swiss franc. Okay. Then you have JPY, which is the Japanese yen. So these are the 5 major currencies. I'll go ahead and give you guys a second just write this down, jot this down. The 5 major currencies. Okay. US dollar, British pound, euro, Swiss franc, Japanese yen. And you'll see these currencies paired with other currencies. Okay, you'll see the USD paired with the British pound. You'll see the USD paired with the euro. You'll see the USD paired with other non-major currencies as well too. But these are the 5 major traded currencies, right? So what causes the exchange rate to move, right? One of the first things that I covered earlier was the exchange rate, right? Between any 2 currencies, okay, if you go back over your notes, between any 2 currencies, there's an exchange rate. Okay, there's an exchange rate, which means, for example, using the US dollar and JPY example, right? This is the exchange rate. This is the exchange rate. This tells me exactly how much Japanese yen I could buy with 1 US dollar. Now, this exchange rate it changes regularly. It goes up and down. Okay, it won't always stay the same. All right. So the exchange rate, write this down. Exchange rate changes regularly. Now, what causes it to change? Think you're never going to watch news the same after this. I promise you guys, you're never going to look at news the same way, because when I started trading Forex, everything that I saw on the news and on TV, I started to associate it with currencies and Forex, right? So things like economic news, right? Things like unemployment numbers, political events, presidential elections, natural disasters, hurricanes, wars, trade, countries trade, they import, they export, right? We have GDP, which is what we produce, right? So all these things affect the value of a country's currency against another. Okay, think of like our presidential election. Think of when Barack Obama got elected. That affected the U.S. dollar. And I'll show you guys an example as well too, of what happens when a country makes a major move, right? When President Trump was elected, that affected the US dollar as well too, okay? Think of like hurricanes, tsunamis, those things, when they destroy, cities, like that affects a country's currency, right? So these are just some of the main things that causes a country's exchange rate to fluctuate. But here's a good thing. Unlike the stock market, okay, and for those of you that aren't familiar with the stock market is pretty much when you're buying ownership of a company. Okay, you're buying shares of a company, and in the stock market, you only make money when that company performs well, when there's good leadership, when there's good PR, when new products are coming out, and and the company's doing well. So in stock market, you're kind of tied, right? Your hands are kind of tied. Your profits are kind of tied to the well-being of the company. If the company does well, your stock's rate rise in value, which means your earnings per share per stock rises. But I don't really like that, because when I traded stocks, I realized that I only make money if the company does well. And I didn't really like that. It didn't really make me feel like I was in control of my outcome. But here's the thing about Forex. In foreign exchange, you can win. You can make money when the stock market no, not stock market. In Forex, you can make money when the market goes up or down. Okay? If you know whether to buy or sell the currency. Right? You can make money in the foreign exchange market whether it goes up or down if you know whether to buy or sell. Okay? I like those odds. I like that. I like being in control. And that, frankly, sounds really good to me. Okay? So earlier I mentioned to you guys some of the things that affect a country's currency, right? Some of the things that affect a country's currency value. Okay, you guys, I don't know if any of you guys are aware of Brexit. Okay, this happened, just a little bit about half a year ago, right? Brexit. So I'm gonna show you guys what is Brexit. Brexit is when Great Britain actually voted to leave the European Union. Okay, Great Britain voted to leave the European Union. This was all over the news. So I'm pretty sure if you guys are in the States, or you guys would have seen that. Okay, this was a really major event. This was this was a huge political event. I'm about to share with you guys what happened to the value of the British pound the minute the final vote was they were going to leave. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys what happened. This is crazy. Watch this. Okay, this right here is, you're looking at a chart of the British pound against the Japanese yen. Okay, and now look at where I marked this arrow. Okay, this arrow is what is right at the time frame when the final votes were in and counted that Great Britain was going to indeed leave the European Union. Look what happened. Okay, the red lines you see here, which I'll cover in another training, are called candlesticks. But the red lines you see here represent a drop in the British pound's value against the yen. Look at this. Look at this drop. It just went straight zoop all the way down. As soon as news broke out, right? News broke out. Hey, we're leaving the EU. The value of the British pound dropped. Boom! It took a nosedive. It took a nosedive. I personally, this was within a couple hours. I personally made about a couple $100 on this drop within about like 10 minutes. This was pretty crazy. Okay, but as you can see, okay, right, political events affect a country's currency. Okay, Britain said, hey man, I want to leave the EU. I don't want you guys no more. And then its value tanked. So a currency drops in value during a time like this for several reasons. Okay, and one of them being is, you have to understand, when Britain left EU, that was a pretty scary thing, right? It was pretty scary. And the reason why, one of the biggest reasons why the country's value currencies dropped is because there was a lot of uncertainty on the pound, and just on that country. There was uncertainty, right? This country just voted to leave, a union. Now they're completely on their own. So when you make a move like that, right, there's going to be a lot of, unconfidence. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty around that country and its currency, which caused it to drop, right? They practically said to EU, hey, we don't want to be a part of you no more. We don't want to be a part of you guys no more. We're going to pull. Imagine, here's a better example. Imagine like California or Texas deciding to leave the United States, not wanting to be a part of the United States anymore, right? If I'm a Californian and California decides to leave the United States, okay, I'd feel uneasy as well too. I wouldn't be too confident or too sure about California, right? And so during times like this, uncertainty causes the exchange rate to drop. So as we can see here, man, when Britain left the EU, their currency, it tanked. it tanked, okay? In 1 hour, the British pound dropped over 2,660 pips. 2,000. It dropped to the lowest level since the 1920s. That's crazy. Okay, the British pound dropped over 2,660 pips. Now, from a financial standpoint, what does that mean? If I caught that drop, if I got in right here for a sell and I caught this drop, guys, and I caught this whole 2,660 pips, if I risked a mini lot, what did I go over, right? There's three types of risk. If I would have traded this 2,660 pips and I traded the absolute lowest that I could, if I traded the absolute lowest, which is a micro lot, 0.01, okay, 0.01 times 2,660 pips, I would have made $266, okay? At the lowest risk, I would have made $266. Just take it up a notch. If I would have risked a mini lot, okay, let me go back over just one more time. Micro lot, mini lot, standard lot, okay? 0.01 to 0.09, 0.1 to 0.9, standard lot, okay? If I risked 0.1 and I caught that whole drop, 2,660 pips, I would have made $2,660. In 1 hour, in a period of 1.5 hours, you would have made $2,666 if you caught that drop. That is insane. That is insane. Well, not really, because the next one's going to be insane. If you would have risked a standard lot, $10 a pip, what's 10 times 2,660, guys? 10 times 2,660, you would have made $26,000, $26,660 in a period of 1 to 2 hours. You would have made someone's part-time salary. You would have made someone's yearly income in a matter of 2 hours. That is incredible. That's insane. Now, just kind of give you the heads up. Something like this, a drop like this, does not happen every day. It does not happen every month. Okay, this is something that is very rare, that happens when a major event like a political election or something like Brexit happens, that it causes a drastic drop like this. So just so you guys be aware, understand, this doesn't happen every day. It's not normal. But here's something that's going to change the way you look at news, okay? The next time you guys watch the news and you start seeing a major political event like on the horizon, like political uncertainty, you're going to start to think about how that's going to affect that country's currency. And that's the way that I look at news now. I can never look at news just to consume news. But now I have a purpose and intent to look at news, is because I want to know what the news is around and what countries are involved, so that I could potentially trade. Okay. So just to recap, this doesn't happen every day. But do you guys see this? You guys see the power of Forex? In a couple hours, you could have made this Forex changes the rules of money. Forex changes the rule of money, because we've been so used to being told that in order to make money, we have to go and trade our time and energy to make money, right? I have to go, when I graduated from college, I had to go and exchange 1 hour of my time to make 20, 25 bucks an hour. And then I get around Forex, and all of a sudden I'm able to make my yearly income out of college in a period of a couple hours with something like Brexit. So this is insane. This is incredible. I hope you guys see the power of trading, okay? It's not really complicated. I know for someone looking at Forex for the first time, it may be overwhelming, but I can tell you from someone who's been there, right? I started looking at this a year ago, and I remember when this was Spanish to me, and just understand for me that I understand how you feel, okay? If you feel overwhelmed, don't worry about it. I felt the same way. But what I felt, that just with enough time, with enough patience, you will be able to get the hang of it as well too. So what I'm going to do is, we ended pretty early here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and this is pretty much what I wanted to keep this short. I want to keep these sessions short so that you have time to actually digest information. I don't want to stuff too much information down your guys' throats because they become overwhelming. So I'm breaking up the trainings into very small, manageable, side chunks so that you guys can take it one bit at a time, because looking back, that's the best way that I learned. Okay, when you guys try and take too much in at one time, it can become overwhelming. So that was pretty much some covering some of the basics of Forex. Okay, exchange rates, how to look at currencies, what affects the currencies, what affects the exchange rate. Okay, and I hope you guys see the power of trading Forex. This is powerful stuff. The example that I showed you guys with Brexit. Okay, just think about this for a second. How much could your life change if you were able to make, an extra couple $100, or you imagine yourself having made $26,000 from that Brexit move? Think about how crazy that would have been for yourself. So what I'm going to do, this is recorded, so you guys can go over it. What I'm going to do now is for everyone on here, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you guys. And if you have any questions at all of what we went over, go ahead and ask, and I can clarify if need be.
I'm just wondering if you could make the PowerPoint available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that you, Kevin?
No, it's Raphael.
Oh, Raphael. Okay, Raphael. Yeah. I can make the slide deck available, and I also have a recording of this webinar as well too. So no worries.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Wait, actually, I would love you guys' feedback though. Like, was this easy to understand for you guys? Did I break everything down pretty easy for you guys?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because one thing that I was trying to do is when I first learned this, it was very complicated. There was a lot of like jargon and all these fancy words, and so I really wanted to just take all that and just kind of break it down for you guys to very simple and understandable language. Oh, any questions for anybody?
No, that was very good.
Okay, awesome. So next on Wednesday, guys, same time, I'm going to move on to the next phase. I'm going to go over a little bit more Forex basics that's going to be related to the charts. Okay, and then I'm going to walk you guys step by step the tools, setting up the app, setting up a Forex broker so that you guys can actually get involved and trade too. So I'm going to go over that 2 days from now, Wednesday, on the next training. We're going to dive into getting the apps installed on our phones, getting the app installed on our laptop, and I'm going to help you guys set up a brokerage account so you guys can put some fake money in there, and then so we can actually start applying and learning as we move forward as well too. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. I appreciate you guys for hopping on our first course, our first training, and hope you guys got value, and looking forward to having you guys on next session. So I appreciate you guys. I understand time is one of those things that we can't get back. So for the times that you guys do give me, I promise that I'll always do my best to give you guys the best value that I can. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a great Monday, and looking forward to having you guys on this Wednesday's call. Okay.
Nice. 7 p.m. Wednesday?
Yeah, same time. So 10 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Pacific.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thanks, Flaw.
Absolutely, guys. So I'll go ahead. As soon as this is over, guys, I'm going to upload the slide deck, and then I'm going to upload the video to YouTube as well, okay? And then I will put it in the community page, okay?
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Hua.
Absolutely, guys. Have a great night.
Bye.
You too. Take care.